Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're doing well. Tiring start to the day after a very tiring, I'm not even going to say transfer window, it's just very tiring supporting Manchester United, isn't it? The shambles that is our football club at the moment is very tiring, but they won. Ultimately they've won. They've got what they wanted. The transfer window is now closed and therefore they don't have to worry about transfers anymore. They don't have to worry about fans moaning because you just ignore it like they do. They've made it through. But what we'll be doing in the first couple of minutes is exposing the fact that it is just spin. I'm sure over the next few days we'll see Ralph Rangnick come out, press conference for the Borough game and speak glowingly about how he's got what he wanted. We'll see training ground pictures of Ronaldo and the winning team, because this is what United do. Spin it, get the likes, get people back interested, get the theme park back open again, get people buying merchandise, get that money flowing into what we absolutely categorically know is just a franchise for the Glazers. It's a theme park. And basically, it's a cash cow. And it's get that positivity spinning. It's get that new kit leaked. It's get we're going to buy a midfielder out there. It's make them forget the transfer window's closed. And it's spin. If you can't see that, everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got a right. But this is a franchise. We're not interested in winning things. They're just interested in making money. And this football club is still making a lot of money, even though we're further away from a title than we've ever been. So it's sad. But look, I feel that Rangnick has been wrecked, betrayed, undermined. I think all those things still stand true. How you can say that you want a player to leave and he's not part of your plans, and then the board say, no, he's staying. I mean, I just cannot get my head around how you can manage in those circumstances. And the problem that United have got is that they'll probably be sat there in their board mood going, they're moaning about us again. It's not fair. It's Richard's first day. Richard is Ed's best mate. Forget Richard's first day. It's more of the same until proven otherwise. But United have this arrogant thing that they think that they're being hard done by. Like, unfortunately, fans for Manchester United board, the fans are probably more switched on than they are. In fact, they are. And we're not reading the headlines from the Daily Star. We're reading it from credible journalists that you use when it suits you, and then you're going to now say that they're not actually accurate. The David Ornsteins of this world, the Fabrizio Romanos of this world, who were basically saying yesterday, Jesse Lingard and Ralph Rangnick had a meeting, and Jesse Lingard wanted out now, and Rangnick wanted him to go as well. And then the board said no. So United can spin everything they like, but let's not build journalists up to be very, very good journalists and then try and make out that it's just, that's not what really happened. And I think it will get swept under the carpet. I think Rangnick will come out on Thursday and say, Jesse's a big part of my plans. That's not what you said yesterday. That's not what Lingard said yesterday. So it is what it is. You've undermined the manager. You've not listened to the manager. And how could a manager, when they're only there for a very short period of time, and the job is ridiculously hard anyway, how can a manager do the job they want to do when they keep being told no? I want a holding midfielder. No. I want Lingard to go and he wants to go. No. How can you do a job when you've got a board sticking their nose into something they know nothing about? It makes it very, very difficult. And I'm not going to let this drop over the next few months because I'm fed up of it. I'm fed up of the spin. I'm fed up of being swept under the carpet. Even if Rangnick comes out on Thursday and says, no, I want Jesse to stay. It's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. If you wanted him to be here, you would have picked him. But I guarantee you're going to start picking him now because, as I said last night, I'll see if I'm proved wrong on this, and I really hope Jesse's switched on not to do it. But I think the plan for United is we might need a replacement for Greenwood. Lingard's free. Let's get him on a contract, 150 grand a week, and we don't have to pay any money to replace anybody because we just keep Lingard. He's been at the club since he was a kid. He's got the DNA. Let's give him a long-term contract. And I think Jesse Lingard contract by April, playing regularly for the first team, I would not be surprised if this is the plan. Jesse might not want it at the moment. Rangnick certainly doesn't want it, but the board does. And the scary thing is, if that happens, I am querying now more and more the unthinkable. How much influence does this board actually have on our squad and team? Like, I can't. I've always laughed at that. They can't be involved in team selections. They can't be involved in who stays and who goes. But I actually genuinely think that there is real suspicion that is the case now. To refuse a manager, a midfielder, and to basically say that players who want to go and the manager wants to go, who doesn't want to use, no, they've got to stay and you've got to play them. Because I think this is where this is heading. Yesterday, Rangnick doesn't want Lingard, proven. Lingard doesn't want to be here, proven. And the board say no, he's staying. They refuse to take 8 million from Newcastle. I think he's going to be forced into the team now, which undermines the manager even more. We'll have to see. Glazers are ruining the club into the ground. This is not my club. I know this isn't the club. I love this. Isn't the club, Sir Alex, and it's about bills to be built, says Ray S. Look, I want to just go through a bit of a story here. I bet the Glazers' favourite song is You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive, and that's embarrassing, says James. Well, they've won, haven't they? They've won again, because what they don't care about, really, is negative press. They probably sit there going, well, at least it's interaction. At least we're being talked about. You know, at least Manchester United are, you know, trending, even if it's because we're rubbish at our job. They probably look at it like that, to be fair. But the reality is they have won because the transfer window's shut. We can moan all we like about Lingard should have gone, Henderson should have gone, we should have bought a midfielder, but, you know, even if they came out now and said, yeah, we should have done, it's not going to happen, is it? It's gone. They've won again. It's like when we didn't get Sancho 2 years ago. As soon as that window's shut, it's over. And bringing Ralph to help structure the club and team, then not back in. Zakaria and Kamara were no-brainers. Lingard is a farce itself, given up, says Klaus. Well, interestingly, I read this on United Plug this morning on Twitter, and it's a quote from the Manchester Evening News. Now, just take this in, right? Okay. Exotic-sounding midfielders were baselessly linked with Manchester United to smoke out genuinely interested clubs like Juventus with Zakaria or to secure a big payday, Kamara and Marseille. That's from the Manchester Evening News, apparently, from the Twitter account at United Plug. Exotic-sounding midfielders were baselessly linked with Manchester United to smoke out genuinely interested clubs. Okay, so that's from the Manchester Evening News. Let me just read you this one then. This comes from December the 20th from Samuel Luckhurst. Just in, Manchester United are prepared to move for a holding midfielder in the January transfer window. The club is prepared to back interim manager Ralph Rangnick in the new year. That's from Samuel Luckhurst in the same Manchester Evening News. So what's the truth? We were linked baselessly to exotic-sounding names so that those players could get moves and big money. And yet 6 weeks ago, the same outlet is saying that United were willing to back the manager. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round. It's just spin. It's absolute spin. And you know what? United were linked to exotic-sounding names. Hold on a minute. Fabrizio Romano, United spoke with Zakaria in December because Rangnick's a big admirer. Fabrizio Romano in January. Keep an eye on Zakaria. It's a player that Rangnick admires and a deal that Manchester United are looking at. Fabrizio Romano yesterday, Kamara was offered to Manchester United. Last week, numerous outlets, Manchester United are admirers of Kamara. Like, this is just typical nonsense about, we were never in for them anyway. You know the genius of this? The genius of this spin is that what point are you trying to make? Like, there's contradiction in everything that you are leaking anyway. But what part of you thinks it's good to put information out there that you were never in for these players in the first place? To be honest with you, I would rather you were in for them and they rejected us than you put out there that we were never in for them, because that just compounds your negligence. We need a holding midfielder. There were holding midfielders available in January, and you're sat there going, we were never in for them anyway. That's the funny thing, we were never in for them anyway. Prats, basically. Prats. That's basically that's the word, isn't it? Like, we needed one, and you think it's a good idea to allow papers put out there that there were exotic names that you were never interested in the first place. And what are you talking about, exotic names? Who's given that? Who's given that information if that's true? Exotic names. I mean, it's bordering on offensive. Exotic names. Zakaria and Kamara. What's exotic about that? They're just not English names. Not exotic. They're footballers who actually, if you didn't dismiss them as not exotic names, you might realise that they're actually viable options for issues within our team. Exotic names. Absolute bloody ridiculous. Ridiculous. But look, there is also further this morning from... okay, there's apparently it gets worse in that article, and because it links to, I'd have to read this myself, but something about clients across Europe seized on the likelihood of a French-speaking midfielder of African descent leaving United by incessantly linking them with French-speaking midfielders of African descent. I don't know. I'd have to read that if that's in the but it just sounds like absolute nonsense and spin again. And ultimately, you may as well put yourself in. It's like being a pair of dirty socks in a washing machine. We're in for a lot of dirty washing and spin, aren't we? Basically, because it's. It's astounding, really. It's astounding, really. But there was something else I wanted to read, which I'm just going to get here. So this is from Samuel Luckhurst, and this is from the United Journal Twitter account, and this is from a senior Manchester United source. We are running processes to our recruitment in the summer. We start in September, and it starts to really solidify around this time of year. Just in case there are ones available who we want to bring in the summer who are available now, although that's a low possibility. And again, this is coming from Manchester Evening News. It's coming from Samuel Luckhurst again, and basically it's Manchester United putting information out there. Senior source at Manchester United. We plan for the summer all season. And then in January, if one of those becomes available, then we're ready. But it's a low chance. What they're basically saying is, we're crap, we're really crap, and we're absolutely crap. Like that's basically what that is. Because you are not good at your job. Like whether you like it or not, and collectively, you are the Man United board. Whether Woodward's gone now or Arnold's there, you are not good at your job. Look at how much you've spent. You are not good at your job. So leaking out that we have a plan and we plan for the summer over the whole season. Great. You're just telling us you're crap at your job. Like, what are we meant to do? Oh, well done. Well done. It all makes sense now. Like, what have Liverpool just done? They bought 2 players in January. What have Man City done? They bought Alvarez for the summer. What have Aston Villa done? So what are you doing? And let's just take the example of what I think they're getting at here. We want Declan Rice in the summer and we can't get him in January. That's our plan. Well, for one, Declan Rice shouldn't come anywhere near this club. He looks like he's got a good career ahead of him. One player ain't going to solve this problem, Declan. So if you're listening, I'd avoid United massively because I guarantee you'll end up like Maguire and everybody else who's come here for big money, overexposed and not not the solution on your own, basically. We need a whole new team, not another £80 million signing. So if that's what United are talking about, well, we can't get Declan in January and we're planning for him in the summer. Well, you know what? Wake up and smell the coffee. Maybe listen to the manager you've got who wanted a midfielder now and gave you options. Maybe listen to the manager that you've got now who can see that football's about today and not tomorrow. United live off a spreadsheet. United think, we're planning for the summer. Shut up, planning for the summer. We're in a top 4 race. We're still in the Champions League. We could still win the FA Cup. We've not won a trophy for the longest period since the mid-80s. And you're talking about your summer transfer plans. Our team ain't good enough. And we're halfway through a season. What are you talking about this summer? You don't write the rules. There's a January transfer window. It's an opportunity for teams that are weak to improve. I don't care about the summer. The summer is irrelevant to me because the summer is an archaic way of solving your problems and January is actually a modern way of solving your problems. There is no reason you can't bring players in January and use them for this season or get them integrated into your team so that they don't spend the first few months of the next season like we have with Sancho bedding in. They sell you this lie of the summer's going to send it all, the sun's going to come out and everything's going to be fine in the summer, and it's not. Look at what's happened with Sancho. Very good signing. He's still not implemented into the team 4 months later. Imagine if we got... Now, it wouldn't be possible, but imagine if you did get a player in January. You give them that 4 months to integrate. Vidic and Evra were perfect. They were a bit slow to get used to it. But because they'd had that extra 4 months, they got integrated into the team quicker for the next season. And it's just... What? And you know what? what United outlets trying to undermine journalists. Hopefully journalists take it personally and start exposing United board and PR for frauds they are, says Sarvish. And the Glazers paid 15 million for Dan James from Swansea in the Championship, and that was a risk, but ended up getting profit. But also won't spend 15 million for Zakaria and Kamara. Dan didn't improve us, but Zakaria and Kamara would make us play better and give us top four. Make it make sense, says Jamesy. Thank you very much for the super chat. And my granddad said he probably won't see United win the league again. What has happened to the club, says Connor T. Well, look, I want to just sort of dispel the summer transfer window for a moment, because United are just spinning everybody towards the summer. In the summer this, in the summer that, in the summer. Even if we're getting Declan Rice, I like Declan Rice. But that doesn't make me think everything's going to get solved. And you know why? Because I've seen this. We bought Pogba 6 years ago for 89 million. Is Pogba worse or better than Declan Rice? Well, there's a debate there. I would say Pogba's a better player, better signing than Declan Rice. It's just not worked out. But he's a warning sign to Declan Rice. Pogba was more high profile than you and a better talent than you, and 6 years later we've done nothing. So that's the plan again. 6 years on, the cycle continues. Let's get Declan Rice. It's not going to work. This one big super signing thing doesn't work at United. What you needed to do was embrace the manager that you've brought in, who's very good at rebuilding clubs that actually aren't high profile clubs like your Leipzigs, and therefore he's very good at scouting. So when he's talking about a Zakaria and you're going, now we want Declan Rice in the summer, you're missing the bloody point. You've been doing this shit for years. He's been doing it differently for years, and he's got more success than you have. But you don't want Zakaria because it's not high profile enough. It's too much of a risk. He's only 5 million euros. We want Declan for 80 million. And yeah, you've done this. You've done it with Pogba. You've done it with numerous players. And it's a broken record, and it's a broken system, and it won't work because you're in charge. Sticking your nose into deals that you shouldn't be sticking your nose in. And when you're talking about the summer, let me just tell you about the summer. If we're going to get Ten Hag or Pochettino, they will be in post until the back end of May with their clubs. They will then want a bit of a holiday, and they will want a bit of thinking time. They won't start the job as Manchester United manager till probably July the 1st. Do you know when the Premier League starts? August the 6th, because of the World Cup. We're going to give a new manager 4 or 5 weeks to come in and clear up that shit. It's spin, people. They're selling you a lie. They are this summer that they... Oh, don't worry about that January mess, because we've got the summer. Yeah, the summer where we're going to need to remove Cavani, maybe Pogba, Bailly, Jones... Lingard's going to have to get dealt with. Martial's going to come back. Donny's going to come back. Matic, Mata. That's 9 off the top of my head. You're going to sort 9 players out that are still here. And then you're going to bring in 2 midfielders, 2 attackers, maybe a defender. Nonsense. With a new manager, in 5 or 6 weeks, you're having a bloody laugh. It's only getting worse. It's spin. It's open the theme park. Get on the ride. Buy the shirts. Keep it going. Get the money pumping in. Because God knows how long we're going to get away with this. That's what United fans are starting to open their eyes up to, is that we've been on this cycle for so long, we've seen what keeps happening every year, we know what's coming in the summer, but they still want to pretend that the summer's going to be great, we're going to have a great big summer, we're going to get a new manager. But we already know there's about 15 deals that need doing just to give us half a chance next season. We won't do 6. The Premier League season starts on August the 6th. The new manager is not going to really be in post unless we're really lucky and he doesn't have a holiday until mid-June at best. And you think he's going to come in from day one and go, I've been watching you every week. I know he needs to go. Any new manager will reassess the squad. I guarantee there probably won't even be much change in the summer with the new manager. Sinking. I bet Arnold will listen to ex-players with no experience over Ralph, just going to go for overpriced British players in the league because they work hard. If Richard Arnold is talking to our ex-British players, we are screwed. They are legends of the club for putting a United shirt on, but they're just glorified fans with opinions sat in a suit on Sky or BT. I don't trust their opinion at all. And, you know, for everything good they say, they'll say something stupid as well. They're no better in their opinions about Manchester United than you, because all they're going to hark back to is to a time that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, when I was there, this is what we did. Mourinho was the greatest manager in world football 10 years ago. He's not anymore. But you want to listen to United players that were great players for United 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they're going to tell you how to be successful now. They've not been successful for over a decade. What do they know about the modern game that you don't know? Do they watch more football than you? Are they watching the evolution of the next big midfielder or the next new manager in a different league? They're probably not watching anywhere near as much football as you. Obviously, they're better footballers than you. Their careers have been great and they're legends of the club. But they're not leaders of the club in the sense of modern day football. They're not managers. They're not directors of football. They don't know how to run football clubs at the highest level. Do you know the directors of football and the people who are running Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea? Did they used to play for those clubs? This is my point. I don't want to know what an ex-United player thinks. I don't. I can watch Sky Sports for that. I don't want them on the board. I don't want them advising the board. And I don't think they know anything about what needs to be done anyway. I can't think of one ex-player that makes me think they'd be really good to come. I mean, Van der Sar is probably the only one because he's running a club in Ajax. But then that's Ajax. That's not the Premier League. And, you know, that comes out into the press. Richard Arnold really wants to tap into the ex-players. Why? Because you've seen them on bloody Sky. What do they know? They don't know anything. They don't know anything about running a proper modern club that is successful. Their principles about, you know, stick to the youth or promote the English players, that didn't even work when they were playing. They weren't the best players in the team. The best players were the foreign players. It's always been the way at United. So the reality is that the club's just, I mean, look, there's not 1 ounce of me that's got any trust in that board at all. And what they did yesterday was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I cannot believe that publicly they've allowed that to happen. The minute it was put, you know, I don't think our social media is run properly. I don't think communications is run properly. I don't think there's many areas of that club. I just don't think it's run properly at all. I think it's incompetent running through the club, and I guarantee if you had a proper owner in, they would sack a lot of people. There's too many people in jobs there who don't support Manchester United, which I think really it doesn't work because, you know, it's just a job. You've got to live, breathe Manchester United, and I don't think people on that board do. But yesterday morning, when you've got people of credible journalists like David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano talking about Lingard desperate to leave Manchester United and Rangnick has agreed that he can go and Newcastle are ready to get him, and then on the evening the board come out and say no. Who at Manchester United on that board thought it was a good idea to refuse that Lingard deal? They should have just gone, we can't publicly undermine the manager. We can't publicly make it obvious that we're keeping an unhappy player here. We're going to get some money. Put it down to experience. Let him go. That's what they should have done. But in their wisdom and arrogance, they decided, no, I don't really care what Ornstein said or Romano said. That, you know, I don't really care that the fans all know that Rangnick wanted him to go and Lingard wants to go. We're this arrogant. We're going to say no. We want him to stay because, you know, we don't want to spend money on a replacement in the summer. We want to get Jesse on a contract, and he might be unhappy now, but we'll get him playing some first team football. Don't matter what Ralph says. We'll get him playing some first team football, and we'll save money. And they did it. They publicly decided that they would allow their manager to be undermined. They publicly decided that they would let it be known to the fan base that they're in charge and not the manager. They publicly let it be known that a player that doesn't want to be here was being forced to stay here. An absolute shambles. And people can say, look, wow, you know, it's because of Mason Greenwood. Well, so what we're doing, we're actually selling an offer of just 6 months as manager and nothing else. If Ralph walks away in the summer, they will have their wish, says Glenn. And Jamesy, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I'm just waiting for it to come back here. But yeah, I think that I don't buy into the give it a refresh, just let people know, give it a refresh. I don't buy into the whole we're keeping Lingard because what might happen with Mason Greenwood. Like, did Lingard play when Rashford got dropped? Did Lingard play when Bruno got dropped? You know, he's not been picked. He's not the option anyway. So we don't need to keep Lingard because of that. And Rangnick didn't want to keep Lingard because of that. And Lingard didn't want to stay because of that. The board have decided this because the board have stuck their nose into football matters. And I know that some of you might be like, look, to be honest with you, Mark, with what's happening with Greenwood, I would keep Lingard because we're a bit short. And that's what you would do if you were the manager. And that's fine. But our manager didn't want to do that. Our manager was like, no, you can go. and Lingard wants to go, you can go. I'm fully aware of the situation, but I've got players that I'm going to give Mabry a chance. I've got Alanga. I'm fine. I don't need Jesse Lingard. Let him go. And then the board comes in and goes, it's like in any job, you make a decision. Imagine if you're working on a desk, customer service desk, and there's a complaint from somebody and you deal with it and go, you know what, I agree with your complaint. It was not acceptable. I'm going to give you £100 voucher. And they're happy and you're happy. And then your boss comes in and goes, no, we're not. You're not having that. You can be unhappy with your complaint and you aren't making decisions that you should be making because I'm telling you not to do it. And that's basically what United have done in this circumstances. They've overruled the manager and undermined him. And he'll come out with a smile on his face in the press conference and he'll go, you know what, it makes sense to keep him because he'll be told to do that. But I suppose the question's got to be, how much of a puppet is Rangnick for the Glazers? Willing or unwilling, he is another puppet, because a puppet can be unwilling. He hasn't got any power, has he? So basically he is a puppet because he wanted to do something and the board said no. He wanted a midfielder and the board said no. He hasn't got any power. And I think it's going to be very interesting over the next coming weeks how many games Jesse Lingard actually starts. Because I guarantee you, he wouldn't have started any games if Rangnick got his way, because he wouldn't be here. And he hasn't been starting games for the last 2 months. But suddenly the board say, let's keep Lingard. And, the cynic in me suggests he will now start playing games for United. In which case, who's really in charge of that team? And I don't think it's Rangnick. So we'll have to wait and see. It's definitely very interesting. To be fair, it could be that the board and Rangnick feel the same. He wants to keep Lingard for squad depth, but wants to keep the relationship harmonious. The board could be covering for him. I doubt it. DWR music. I mean, I think you're really stretching there. If you want to find excuses for this board, go ahead. But I don't trust them at all. When Jesse returns with West Ham next winter, expect payback, says Bolver. You know what? If you want to guess, I think Lingard will be here next year. I think he'll sign a new contract. I think this is Operation Get Lingard to sign a contract, which is ridiculous. Why United even loaning out, get rid of them if they don't want to play for us? End of the day, United aren't the same team anymore, says Teves official. Mark, Ralph will clearly have no power in the summer. We are screwed. There goes another plan up in smoke, says Sean from Ireland. And Mark, Greenwood is still in your graphic in the bottom right saying he rescued United. Okay, yeah, we'll sort that out. Kane, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Very, very, very good point, and I appreciate that. It's probably just been missed. We're all adapting to this situation, and we don't know what this situation is going to be at the moment, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. We've spoken about the summer, we've spoken about the spin. Expect the pictures today, back in training, winning team, Ronaldo, get the theme park open. If you don't think you're a customer in a theme park at Manchester United, you're very naive. That's what we are. That's where we are at the moment. We're just a theme park. We're not a football club. As I said last night on the long stream, it feels like we are basically, the Glazers have turned us into the first American sport franchise. Look at teams like the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers and these big American football institutions that don't win things very often, because that's not really the way American sport works, because of the draft system, etc. You don't really get a domination from any team, but they all make a lot of money and they've all got big support. And basically the Glazers model has been to turn us into an American sport franchise, because that's what we are. We make a hell of a lot of money. With a lot of noise around us, but we deliver next to nothing in trophies. So it's very, very, very difficult to see. I want to be positive, and I think if you want the positive, I think we can get fourth, and I think some people will think that's success. But is fourth place success? No, it's not. It's what Arsenal used to call success, and it's not success. Because it's, if fourth place is your ceiling, there's no leeway. Look at Arsenal, fourth. Oh shit, we're not in the top four. Now we're eighth. Basically under the Glazers, what's happening on a graph? We're dropping. You look at where Sir Alex had us. We're gradually dropping down. There were some trophies: Van Gaal FA Cup, Mourinho Carabao Cup, Europa League. Now there's no trophies. Now we're back fighting for fourth consistently, and I don't see any upturn. But they have to pretend there's an upturn, because you've got to keep the theme park open. But I don't see an upturn at United. I just see problems. I can't believe a professional football club would leave its midfield so open for the last 2 years without improving on it. But they chose, social media signings over actually building a team. And I like Ronaldo and I like Sancho, but they're glamorous signings, they're shirt-selling signings, and United will always go for that over a midfielder that actually might... I mean, basically, I'll give you the scenario. United, we need a holding midfielder. His name's, I don't know, Hadara. But you can get Ronaldo. Get Ronaldo. We need a holding midfielder, but you can get Sancho. Get Sancho. Because, maybe it's right to get Sancho and Ronaldo. Maybe it is, but United would get them anyway because they don't want to build a team. They want to build shirt sales and social media. That's what they want to build, and the evidence is there that this is where we're heading. And look, if we do finish 4th in the league, I think people would say that that's a success. 4th in the league is a success. I don't think it is, because all it does is get us into the Champions League for next year. But we'll still have the same problems next season. This is where I'm concerned. It's not about the next few weeks. I think we probably will and have got a good chance of getting 4th place. We've got some very winnable fixtures coming up. But even if we do get 4th place, we know that the Glazers think that's a good thing. It could be the worst thing that happens to us, 4th place, because they'll go, we're fine. And I see what Villa are doing. I see what Newcastle are doing. That's 2 teams that are coming through with more aggression, being better run than us, that are going to come through. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea aren't going to go anywhere. So next season, at this time next season, we might be going, bloody hell, we were right. Even though we got 4th place, we're not going to win the Champions League, and we're now down in 7th in the league, and we're not going to get top 4. I think over the next 18 months, we're in trouble. And we might have some short-term success, but I think in the next 18 months, we're in trouble. I can't see how this summer is going to be any good. The Glazers don't want to spend the sort of money that it would take to sort this team out. They won't sell the player. I mean, look, if you're not going to get... Look, this is a good example. If you're not going to let Jesse Lingard leave when he's out of contract in the summer, you're never going to sell a Harry Maguire or any other player like that maybe does need to go, that takes ruthlessness. They're not going to do it. And, we're not going to do the deals that need to be done. And the evidence is already there that when you've got a player that's unhappy, United would rather persuade them to sign a contract than let them go and have to buy somebody else, because they don't want to spend on somebody else. They'd rather keep a Mata or a Matic or an Eric Bailly or a Jesse Lingard at the club, because it means that it's cheaper. It's cheaper to give someone a new contract than it is to let them go and then buy somebody. And that's not what United want to do. They don't want to do that. So I look at the summer and I think there's too much that needs to be done. Even if they get Pogba to stay and Lingard to stay, which I hope they don't, but they probably will try and do it. I hope the players don't do it. We need 2 midfielders. We need another striker at least. And we need probably another defender. So we need to bring in 3 players at least in the summer. And we need to move out probably 8 or 9. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Arnold will be worse than Ed. Mark my words, the over-promotion of English talent and academy players is from him. They think foreign players are risky, says Michael Gibson. I just, like, you know what? The only thing is now that they've won. They've won, haven't they? They've won. The transfer window is closed. They've undermined the manager. They've took the piss out of the club. They've took the piss out of the fans. And they've won. And nothing can be done now. There will be no midfielder. There will be no Lingard or Henderson leaving. They've won. They run the club. They've made it very clear who runs this football club. It's the board. And they've won. But they've absolutely contradicted themselves throughout the last 6 weeks. All these journalists that they give information to, they've contradicted them with the information that they've given them. And now they're trying to spin their way out of it. All we can do as fans is focus on the pitch and the results now. And hopefully they can improve. I feel sorry for Rangnick. He's clearly not been listened to. I feel sorry for some of the players as well. And, rest assured, there are players in that football team who don't like the owners. So, we're not in isolation. They're fully aware of the mess the club is in. And that's what it is. It's a mess, an absolute mess. And I fear that we're going to get spun around about summer signings. I mean, it's already coming out today. Our plans are for the summer. And it's just such nonsense, because they don't realise that football fans are quite intelligent. We know the Premier League season starts at the start of August. We know it's a short summer. We know you're going to try and get a new manager, and that means they're only going to have about 6 weeks to look at a team and get players in. More of the same next season. Comparing ourselves to Villa and Newcastle just shows how we have lowered our bar to top 4. We were going to be in this title race this season. Top 4 is a failure, says the Red Salmon. Yeah, well, we've sacked a manager. It shows you that we've failed. But it's never the right people who get sacked. The board shouldn't be here. The board shouldn't be here. The owners shouldn't be here, but they're still here, and we're gonna struggle, aren't we? We really are. Let's just see if there's any other news coming in. I certainly don't feel any better about things this morning. I just can't wait for United to start playing games again, because at least that's a distraction. Because right now, I just don't see the future for Manchester United. And also, you know what? We can pretend that we're going to get Declan Rice, but if Chelsea want Declan Rice or Man City want Declan Rice, he's going there, isn't he? And that's one of the things that really frustrates me about United the most. Oh, we didn't want to do any business in January because in the summer we're working hard on Declan Rice. But then all the work you've done, you don't understand who you are, do you? You think we're Manchester United. If we want Declan Rice, we can get Declan Rice. You're not. If Chelsea want him, he's gone, because that's the team he wants to go to. So all your plans about, oh yeah, we know what we're doing, we're in power. You're not in power. Your power is fragile in the footballing world. Loads of people think you're absolutely useless at what your job in the actual industry. But if you think Declan Rice is your big star signing in the summer, not going to you anyway if Chelsea want him. That doesn't mean we won't get him. But, you know, and what will United's big play be? It'll be 250 grand a week. It'll be ridiculous wages again. And then what if it doesn't work out? You're stuck with a player who's on 250 grand a week again. The same mistakes keep being made. Now, the interesting thing is, I guarantee you Zakaria is not on 250 grand a week. I guarantee you Kamara would not have wanted 250 grand a week. You know, I guarantee you Tchouaméni will not be on 250 grand a week. So not only are United making the same mistakes all the time, well, we're going to get Declan Rice for 80 million. But you're also going to give him 250 grand a week, aren't you? And then when it doesn't work out, you're lumbered again with massive wages. They just keep making the same mistakes. And look, we'll see what Richard Arnold does. But yeah. The absence of a permanent manager, the presence of an interim, a bloated squad and the constraints of the winter window made any January incoming at United a non-starter. The absence of a permanent manager, no, nonsense. The presence of an interim, nonsense. He's going to be an advisor to the club for the next 3 years. A bloated squad, well, that's your own fault. And the constraints of the winter window. What constraints of the winter window? Every other club seems to do. It's just spin, 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 spin. And we all know it's spin. We all know it's spin. Tiring, isn't it? Just get United back playing games, because the transfer window when we're not playing games is just so frustrating. It highlights exactly the issues that we have at the football club. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We will be back later on. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, and obviously we will see. I don't really want to talk about it, obviously, but Mason Greenwood is still in custody as we understand, so we're expecting some sort of announcement on that. But at the moment, obviously, the less said, the better. I will be on Twitch later at 3 o'clock, but we'll probably have a video on here at 2 o'clock, so don't worry about that. Finally, I just want to say we've got a giveaway, which I completely forgot. It's on our Instagram page. The link's in the video description. Our Instagram page has hit 250,000 today. So we are giving a giveaway. You know the Last Dance hoodies? We're giving away 2 of those. All you've got to do is go to our Instagram page, follow it, and then go to the 250,000 followers photo and put in the comments what would be your 3 dream transfers for Manchester United. And that can be sell that player, buy that player, or it could be just buy 3 players. Realistic, because obviously I'm going to be picking the winner. So if you say I want Messi, Neymar and Suarez, I won't pick you as the winner. So we're giving away 2 United Stand Last Dance hoodies, and you can get those through the link in the video description to our Instagram page. Follow the page, like the post, and put the comments in below of what your 3 transfers would be if you were in charge of United. Very interested to read those this morning. Probably get one from Richard Arnold saying, my dream transfers would be buy nobody and give dividends to the Glazers. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all in a bit.